You know, the thing is that actually, when you get spam calls, robocalls, and telemarketing calls, those can be really, really annoying, especially when they call you like late at night or early in the morning. That's really crazy. So, in today's conversation, I want to really explain to you how to stop spam calls, robocalls, and telemarketers from annoying you. So here are the generalities here. So there is actually, and you would agree with me on that, that there is nothing more frustrating than hearing the phone ring, only to discover it's really an unwanted phone call, spam call. Okay, not only does this take precious time away from your day, spam calls and robocalls and the people behind them are really relentless. So from automated messages about, let's say, political candidates to scammers pretending to be calling from your bank, it's really really clear that we're now all too familiar with this nuisance calls. Okay, and the worst thing is that the problem is really really getting worse over and over and over. So you have like billions of spam calls being made in the first month of in the first months of this year alone. That's really over 100 times the size of the U.S. population. Okay, so to stop that, spam texts are also reportedly on the rise, with actually funding revealing over 45 to 50 billion calls all the time. So one thing for sure, you really need to understand, when you think about nuisance calls, you have three main types. You have robocallers, you have spam and telemarketing calls, and then you have fraud and scam calls. So those are the three that I want you to focus on. Okay, and so why are you getting spam, scam, and telemarketing calls? Well, the simple answer is that because there's money to be made. That's what it is. Telemarketing firms are usually legitimate organizations, and it's simply a numbers game for them. So if one in every 300 or 500 people that they call buys what they're selling, then it can be a profitable and highly irritating business model. Okay, the same logic applies to scammers operating phone fraud, unfortunately. So while many of us know how to hang up straight away when we receive a suspicious robocall or any other type of dubious call, there are, unfortunately, and that's really true. Unfortunately, many people who are a lot more vulnerable to phone scams. So these vulnerable individuals could fall victim to social security fraud through robocalls, unfortunately. So spammers actually get your phone number from a lot of places. Okay, from data broker, yeah, from data broker. So data broker like My Life or Radaris. Okay, and so scammers are calling you from they can call you from a local number, by the way, to actually sort of hide their identity. So let me give you the tough hacks you need to really apply today to stop spam calls, to stop scammers, and to stop actually robocalls. So the first thing you want to do is that you want to make some adjustments to how you handle unwanted calls, and that's really important if you are if you want to protect yourself and your family. Okay, first thing first, you do not want scammers to know your phone number is active. Otherwise, you may start receiving an increase in nuisance calls as your number can be sold on. Okay, so here are some basic tips from the FCC when it comes to how you should handle unwanted calls. The first thing you want to do is don't answer calls from blocked or unknown numbers. That's really, really the basic advice that I can give you into this conversation. Never, never, ever, never answer phone calls from blocked or unknown numbers. If the person is not showing their number, they might be hiding something, and most times they are hiding something. So scammers may call from a number with a local area code. So don't let this lower your guard. And also, if a recording asks you to hit a number on your keypad, hang up immediately. You want to hang up immediately. Also, if a caller claims to be from a company or, let's say, government agency, and they do this all the time, by the way, if they tell you that, if they tell you they are from a company or a government agency, you want to end the call, then call the organization back using the phone number on their website. You want to really initiate the call yourself. If you initiate the call, you are in control. But when you pick up a call that's actually been addressed to you, you're not in control. You are vulnerable. And also, never give away any personal information, such as your social security number or a mother's maiden name, somebody calling you asking you about your SSN or your mother's maiden name, never give that information. Do not answer any questions, especially those that can be answered with a yes, as scammers might be recording the call and can then edit the recording to make it sound like you have agreed to something that you didn't. So that's really important for you to really, again, you want to answer a conversation, you want to answer questions in a conversation from someone that you actually can authenticate. If you want to stop spam calls, robocalls, scam calls this year, you want to add yourself to the do not call registry, but understand the limits of this. Actually, I'm preparing an entire video on the whole do not call registry sort of process. Okay. Now, the cool thing is that the FTC operates the National Do Not Call Registry, which telemarketers should really abide by. And if they don't abide by it, they have steep fines to really pay. Okay. So add yourself to the list, and your number should be removed from telemarketers list within 31 days. And so now, how does this whole service work? Basically, telemarketers are required to cross-reference their call lists with a registry every 31 days and remove any numbers from their list that they find on the registry. Okay, and that's really important because the government is really trying to reining abuse at that level, at the telemarketing level. Now, when you think about National Do Not Call Registry, you have to really understand that basically this is one attempt from the government to stop legitimate telemarketers who play by the rules. Okay. However, and this is a big however, if you are being plagued by robocalls and scammers, it won't solve the problem. So because those folks, they don't care about the no call registry. They don't give a hoop about the no call registry, and that's really what it is. I'm just telling you how things happen in real life. Okay. So what's more, the registry only applies to sales calls. So legitimate organizations such as charities, political parties, and survey companies can still bother you with any unwanted call. Okay, and this is what it is. This can be really irritating, but it is a reality. And one thing I want to say here is that when you add yourself to the do not call registry, you have to really also call the FTC. The FTC has a number. Again, I do have an entire video on that topic, so that's why I'm not really going too granular here. But the FTC has a phone number, but also an email or even a website where you can just check whether or not your number has been indeed added to the do not call registry. You want to have that. So basically, once you go through the process and you ask them to remove you, you want to make sure that they have indeed removed you from telemarketers list. If you want to stop spam calls, scam calls, and robocalls this year, you want to activate built-in features within your phone's operating system. And it's one of those things where every phone, like whether it is Android or iOS, has some security, like some built-in security features. So many Android phones, as a matter of fact, now come with built-in spam protection software, and Google provides caller ID and spam protection, which will provide caller ID data if a number calls you that is not within your contacts. So that's kind of cool because it gives you an extra layer of protection. Google will also Google through Android will also flag potential spam and scam calls. That way you have a clear idea of what really happens. So that's for Google. Apple also provides a spam killing option with its silence unknown callers feature. This will actually divert any calls to a voicemail from numbers that are not in your contacts or haven't previously phoned or texted you. So you have a lot of you have a lot more control on that end. That's really fantastic. Now, how do these services work? Well, the Google service is pretty clever. It uses data from its Google My Business directory to display caller ID data, as well as data on scam numbers to flag possible scam and robocalls. The Apple service is less sophisticated, as essentially diverting all numbers not known to you to a voicemail. Okay. So let me talk to you about built-in phone OS features. When you think about while the Google service is innovative in how it uses data from Google My Business, Not every business has a Google My Business account. That's something to know, especially many small mom and pop stores. What's more, a business or organization may have lots of different phone numbers, and not all of them are listed on Google My Business. So it's one of those things where you have to look at the limitations. It's not entirely clear how basically Google compiles and updates its spam list. And Apple, on the other hand, will block all unknown calls, but this could actually come with its own issues, such as honestly urgent calls getting diverted to voicemail and getting unnoticed. So this is you got to really see how to strike a balance, how to strike a decent balance between spam calls versus legit calls. One thing I want to say here is that if I go back to what I said to you a little earlier, don't pick up a call from a contact you don't know. That's just the basic. If the person is not something that you know in real life, do not pick up their phone number. So if you want to stop spam calls, scam calls, or robocalls this year, you want to activate a service provided by your carrier. And this is something that can really help you out. Now, top of the class is arguably T-Mobile's service Scam Shield, owing to the fact that it's offered free to call to all customers, by the way. So the iOS and the Android apps blocks known spam numbers and also provides caller ID for numbers not in your contacts. Or if you just want to turn on the spam block feature without downloading the app, you want to dial 662. So 662, you want to dial 62, and you have more information. So that's for T-Mobile. You also have Sprint. So for Sprint, the call screener service is now free for all customers due to the merger with T-Mobile. Once installed, the mobile app flags or blocks suspected scam calls. You also have AT&T. So with AT&T, the Call Protect mobile app service offers both a free and paid plan. So the free basic plan blocks known scam numbers, flags potential scam calls, and has a personal block list. So that's really cool because it gives you an extra layer of security. Now the Plus plan at $3.99 a month per line provides caller ID, reverse number lookup, and nuisance call controls that you can personalize. What about Verizon? So with Verizon, you have a call filter mobile app that also offers a free and paid plan. The free plan call filter provides spam detection and filtering, while the paid plan Call Filter Plus provides caller ID, spam lookup, and a personal block list. So how do these services work? Well, the behind-the-scenes technology powering this spam call blocking services has come a long way over the last few years, especially during COVID, by the way. So at the heart of this is the technology known as stir shaken, which was mandated by the FCC in July 2021. So the technology verifies if a call is coming from a real number, enabling it to weed out spoofed robocalls. So that's really fantastic, especially from a data privacy point of view. So wonderful. And one thing I also need to say here is that this is actually a good starting point, as all the major carriers provide some form of scam call blocking for free. So customers may as well install and activate this. So this is really good. Next, if you want to stop spam calls, scam calls, and robocalls, you want to download a third-party app. Okay, so if the service provided by your carrier doesn't cut it, you have options. Don't be discouraged. You want to consider using a third-party scam call blocker app. Most of this will require a monthly or annual subscription charge. At least the ones that are effective will. Okay, so here are some of our top picks. You have Haya, you have a RoboKiller, you have Nomo Robo, you have Firewall. So those four are pretty good. So when you think about Haya, for instance, this platform powers some of the spam detection services provided by Samsung, AT&T, and others. It's actually a standalone app that offers both a free and paid plan, but the benefits of each differ depending on whether you are using Android or iPhone. So caller ID and spam detection is offered for free on Android, while the paid version provides spam blocking and a reverse lookup. Over on the iPhone app, the free version provides spam detection and blocking, and the paid version adds a database of known caller identities. The paid plan is actually $3.99 per month with a 7-day free trial. What about RoboKiller? RoboKiller uses proprietary data to identify scammers' numbers and then block them. So for added delight, its answer bot will answer scam and telemarketer calls to waste their time and then share the recordings with you for your listening pleasure. So the monthly plan cost about $4.99, while the annual plan costs $39.99. Next, you have No More Robo. So one of the most affordable spam call blocker apps on the market. No More Robo blocks known spam numbers, and the service is free to use for VoIP landlines and $1.99, and that's good. $1.99 for mobile users. And then you have Firewall. So while this is currently iPhone only, it provides actually an innovative approach to blocking spam calls by only letting a whitelist of approved numbers through instead of blocking a blacklist of known spammers. So legitimate callers not on your whitelist can leave a voicemail, which is then transcribed and sent to you via the app. The app also provides burner numbers that you can use when you don't want to reveal your real number on outbound calls. And basically, this service costs $3.99 per month with a free 14-day trial. So how do these services work? Basically, most of these services work by maintaining huge databases of known scammer and robocall numbers, which they actually update daily with the new numbers they have identified. So whenever you receive an incoming call, the service will check the number against their blacklist to root out and block any known spammers. So this is pretty good, especially when it comes to security. If you want to really stop spam calls, scammers, and robocallers from actually bothering you, you want to tackle the root cause of the problem, okay? Because the thing is, the major shortcoming with all this, those 5 measures that I gave you, those 5 options, is that they don't tackle the root cause of the problem. How scammers and robocallers get your phone number in the first place? Because, I mean, how do they know who you are? How do they know you are who you are? So huge amounts of personal identifiable information, PII, including full names, addresses, and phone numbers, are available to legally purchase from data brokers. This is actually a primary source of data for scammers to build their calls list from, and it is what it is, okay? And so what's more, this is how scammers can actually trick you into believing they are calling you from your bank or other organization by having a lot of info about you. Therefore, in order to stop scammers from getting access to this data, the most effective action you can take is to remove your PII from data brokers in the first place. Now, there are actually 2 ways to do this when it comes to removing your PII. First, you have the DIY option. You can do it yourself. Then you can actually have a data removal service do it for you. So the DIY actually is pretty. This DIY is free, but it's really time intensive, because all data brokers must remove your personal data from their databases if you request this. And so the problem though is that there are countless data brokers active on the market. So removing all your data from these platforms, not to mention your family members' data, is extremely fiddly and time consuming. What's more, this is not a one-time activity. Your personal data is continuously being added to data broker platforms. So you need to be constantly monitoring and removing this. So second, you can really outsource the whole thing. So you can actually, you can entrust a data removal service, okay? So you are able to you're able to rely on, let's say, NLP and AI, artificial intelligence, to identify and scrub your personal data from all data broker platforms and other online sources of PII. So when I speak about data removal services, you are speaking about Apteri, you're speaking about Aura, you're speaking about Delete Me, you're speaking about you have a lot of players in a very crowded market. So here's the coda. In today's conversation, I spoke to you about how to stop spam calls, scam calls, and robocalls. I give you the generalities, the top hacks, and now the coda. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.